So one of my friends, he and I were co-youth ministers directing a camp, and the kids had kind of gotten a little out of control. And he pulls the whole camp together and he says, "Hey, have you ever gone through the day and in all your working and studying everything, activities, your shirt kind of gets untucked and you need to step in the bathroom, stuff it back in your pants good and tighten your belt up?" So that's kind of what we need to do at camp today. I love that illustration. It stuck with me. Another friend of mine, when asked by another minister, "How do you prepare a sermon that's really focused?" His choice of analogy was of an archer shooting at a target. He says anything that's going to prevent that arrow from hitting the bullseye doesn't belong in the sermon. I think that's the case in life. If we're going to be a people who are on a mission, how do we effectively do it? We focus in not on what we're trying to miss, but we focus on what we're trying to hit. We focus on the bullseye. We get rid of everything that can distract us, and we shoot our arrow right there. We're going to take a break from our typical expository lesson. We're going to mainly be in 1 Thessalonians 1 this week again, but really taking all the lessons that we've had and making some application for the Northwest Church this week and for your life. Some big questions in the small talk section. Would you rather be a leader or a follower? Some people are more comfortable following. Other people believe that they're called by God to be leaders of people. And would you rather Northwest be a church that is a leading congregation, or do you think that we should kind of be a church that's kind of operating in the background and doesn't really have an impact on the churches or the greater Christian community around us? When we think about life, and we have our life talk section, when you consider your personal life and the community life of the Northwest Church, what examples do you see of Northwest learning and teaching or leading? When you think about intentionality and our desire to reach into the world, we also want to think about how that we're responsive and flexible enough to meet urgent needs. What acts of service can you think of, can you point to, of intentional ministry and flexibility that personally encourage you? Something that says Northwest is on the right track. We are trying to reach our local community, expand into regional ministry, pay attention to national needs, and have a global presence. When you think of that, what do you see that encourages you that says, hey, we are on the right track? Our culture constantly pushes back against the moral teachings of God. They don't want to agree with God because God and God's teachings places limits on what we can and can't do, especially when it comes to moral issues. There are several churches that are prone to give in to the culture. They want to just kind of say, you know what, that's maybe not as important as it seems like in the Bible. When you think about those areas where churches are tempted to kind of compromise, what are those areas that you think of? What comes to mind? And how do we balance the redemptive nature of the church, the bringing of new people into the church, with the moral teachings of Jesus Christ in Scripture? This is very important. In what ways should a church, and specifically the Northwest Church, live in order to win the respect of outsiders? We've been talking about what it means to be quiet servants with a very loud message versus loud servants with a very irrelevant message. Missionaries have pointed out for a long time that if you're going to reach a community, it needs to start with serving the community. Serving the community is what gives you the credibility to reach the community. What types of Christian service do you think open the doors for Christian teaching and can open the doors for the Northwest Church? Now, every Christian should engage in worship, learning, and service. We're usually committed to worship. As a matter of fact, most people that are Christians attend service somewhere, some way. However, we often lack our commitment to Christian learning or to social action. So share with your group this week. When you get together with your life group, with your friends, with your family, share with them one commitment you have to be greater involved in a learning environment, someplace that you're going to grow, and also a place that you're going to serve. We're pausing because we've been through 4 chapters of 1 Thessalonians. We've talked about a lot of big issues. And now it's time to pause and to ask ourselves, do we need to kind of tuck our shirt back in and get ready for the rest of this year. God bless. Have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you this Sunday at Northwest.